Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, Detroit sports fans, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports Show, the Tigers season preview 2014. I'm your host, Taylor Phillips. This is a special edition of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show where we preview the 2014 Detroit Tigers season. If you have any opinions or want to be a guest on the show by surprise, hey, this is live, baby. Just call in at 646-478-4837. That number again is 646-478-4837. You can also find me on Facebook, Google, YouTube, Pinterest, and StumbleUpon as Taylor Phillips. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at DT2Phillips. And as you can see on YouTube, I have this Tigers sweater. Oh yeah. It says Detroit in orange and navy. A navy type blue. You know, for those Tigers. No goldenrod for the Astros for sure. I have no support for them. And I have 100% proof that the Astros are not a good team still. So let's go over the guidelines. Number one, if you have called in, stay on the line. If you hang up by mistake, redial the number and then stay on the line. 646-478-4837 is the number. Again, 646-478-4837. Keep it very clean and treat the show with respect. And if you don't know much about the Tigers or any Detroit sports, you can still just listen. And only I can change the topic because I'm the host of the show. I can still go to other Detroit sports updates. For example, so let's go ahead and get started. Looking over the Tigers' active roster. So overall in the offseason, after losing in the ALCS against the Boston Red Sox in 6 games, who went on to win the World Series against the Cardinals, the Tigers thought it was time to make some changes, and it was time for their then manager Jim Leyland to step down as manager. And then a couple weeks later, the Tigers have hired Brad Ausmus as their manager. And there were only two. And there were a lot of other coaching changes during the off season as well, early in that off season. And the Tigers didn't waste any time. Dombrowski didn't waste any time searching for coaches, and it didn't take long for him either. The only 2 coaches that are staying on the Tigers team on the staff are pitching coach Jeff Jones, who's going to be wearing the number 51 from now on, and Gene Lamont, still their bench coach, still wearing that number 22. But the new coaches that have come in, Wally Joyner as hitting coach, replacing Lloyd McClendon, who is now the manager of the Seattle Mariners. Darnell Coles, assistant hitting coach. Omar Vizquel, a former Major League Baseball player, now as the first base coach and infield coach. Dave Clark, replacing Tom Brookins as third base coach. Dave Clark. I'd like to take a look at him. And Mick Billmeyer is their bullpen coach. And now I just hear that Kevin Rand is gone as their Kevin Rand is not even in the coaching staff. My bad. Matt Martin, number 88, is their defensive coordinator. Dave Clark, for example, as third base coach. He had spent 5 seasons with the Astros as their first base coach, 2013, and third base coach from 2009 to 2012. Lots of information that we only got a half hour on this show, so I can't go through all of it, although I wish I could. Let's see here. Now the player roster. Somewhere down the road in the offseason, the Tigers traded their first baseman Prince Fielder to the Texas Rangers for a second baseman, Ian Kinsler. And then they traded one of their starting pitchers, Doug Fister, to the Nationals, the Washington Nationals, for 3 players: Ian Kroll, Robbie Ray, and Steve Lombardozzi. Lombardozzi's going to be our shortstop. Robbie Ray is a pitcher. I think he's I think Robbie Ray has been sent down, has already been cut. Ian Kroll is a lefty. He's apparently going to be a relief pitcher if he makes the roster. And then the Tigers picked up a new closer, Joe Nathan, from the Texas Rangers as well. He also pitched for the Minnesota Twins. Joe Nathan and Torrey Hunter get along very well because I think they used to play on the same team for Minnesota. Then the Tigers picked up Rajay Davis, an outfielder from the Toronto Blue Jays. But with that Prince Fielder trade for Ian Kinsler, that would make the Tigers take an option to move their two-time MVP third baseman Miguel Cabrera back to first base and put Nick Castellanos, or Castellanos, whichever you prefer. I think they're both. I think it's spelled. I think both ways are. Both pronunciation ways are. I think both ways of the name are spelled are pronounced correctly in my mind, but Nick Castellanos. I'll pronounce it alternatively. Castellanos will play third base. And Castellanos Nick Castellanos is an American. It should be pronounced Castellanos, not Castellanos. That would be more Latino or Spanish, and that's not his ethnicity. People, it's Castellanos. He's an American. But Castellanos has showed me a lot offensively. He's driven in a lot of runs. As we take a look at his stats, he's a complete righty. Spring training career stats, 2014. Nick Castellanos has 16 RBIs, 2 walks, total bases 29, 8 runs scored, 17 hits out of 41 at-bats, batting .415. That's impressive. Only struck out 3 times, stole 2 bases, only got caught stealing once. Every player's going to have that. Slugging percentage, .707. On base plus slugging percentage, 1.139. Ground outs, air outs, ground out, air out average 1.18. 6 doubles, 0 triples yet. But Comerica Park would be a very nice ballpark. It's a very nice ballpark for triples, and I think Castellanos would sure love to hit at least 1 triple this season at Comerica Park with the Tigers. That's one of the rookies to watch for the Tigers. Another player that has stepped up in spring training is Trevor Crowe. This spring he's batting .154, 3 RBIs. He stepped up a little bit, I guess. Maybe not that much. Total bases 4 hits, 1 run scored. Total bases 5, 1 double, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, no stolen bases. He's been caught 3 times trying to steal. On base plus average 241, slugging percentage 192. Not good, but he's a very. But he could sure use some time in Toledo. On base plus slugging percentage 434, ground out air out average 150, 1.5, you might say. One of the Tigers players that has not stepped up like we expected was Drew Smiley. spring training. 11 1/3 innings pitched thus far. His ERA has gone up to 4.76. It has gone by 1.38 from last year. Last year's ERA in his spring training ERA was 3.38. This year, thus far, is 4.76. He has started all four of his games. He has started in all 4 of his appearances. He's 1-1. He's given up 16 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned. He has given up 2 homers, walked 4, and struck out 8. Opposing batting average 320. Walks and hits per innings pitched 1.76. Opposing ground out, air out average 0.53. It's those are not quite the numbers you expect from a true starting pitcher, but Smiley's only getting warmed up yet, and this is only spring training as we know it. But time will tell. So, looking at Rick Porcello, who is still struggling in my mind. Spring training this year, a 7.30 ERA, the worst of all of his spring training ERAs in his spring training career. Ouch. In 12 1/3 innings pitched, giving up 17 hits, 10 runs, all earned, 2 homers, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Opposing batting average 321, 1.46 walks and hits per innings pitched, and opposing ground out, air out average 1.6. Still not good numbers, and his ERA is a lot worse than ever in spring training. His entire spring training career ERA is 2.96. Rick Porcello has just got to step it up, because otherwise he could be sent down to the bullpen for the rest of his career, just like Smiley did the last 2 or 3 years. So if you have any opinions on these, on all of what I mentioned, you can call in at 646-478-4837. I'm Taylor Phillips. This is a special edition of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show, the Tigers Season Preview 2014. And we are going over this entire roster and what the future will hold. Let's take a look at Miguel Cabrera's stats this spring training. Very, very good as usual. Batting average 406. Base plus percentage 513. Slugging percentage 625. 2 home runs this spring. just 5 RBIs this spring. That not as good as last year when he drove in 16. 32 at bats, total bases 13. 13 hits, 7 runs scored, 1 double. He's only getting warmed up. He's one of the guys the Tigers should re-sign before his contract expires. He's got two years left on his contract. I want to get to Max Scherzer too. Scherzer, there's been a lot of talk about the Tigers wanting to re-sign Scherzer to a long-term extension, and Scherzer wants the same thing, and with that, there have been talk about Scherzer likely to become a free agent. But know this, that I don't think there's any doubt the Tigers will keep him, because it's gonna take some more time for them to work this out with him. But I think they'll get it done. Scherzer has had a rough spring this year, but I think he'll pick it up in the regular season. Verlander has been pitching great, pitching a lot better, trying to get his 2012 form back. He pitched 5 scoreless innings today, did not get the win. Phil Koch did. Tigers beat the Nationals today 2-1. They whooped on them 2 days ago 12-6. Then they clobbered the Astros 14-3 yesterday. Just a very good weekend for the Tigers this spring. Although they don't count, you can still count them as wins personally. Especially if you're a Tigers fan like me. You got to enjoy those wins, no matter what. It's a positive mindset of things to come. Let's see here. There's also been talk about Andy Dirks' injury. He'll be out about 12 weeks, about 3 months or so. So some people are wanting Don Kelly to be the starting left fielder, and others want the Tigers to give Rajay Davis a shot. I'm one of them. The Tigers signed Rajay Davis to a contract, and he steals more bases than Don Kelly has historically, career-wise. If I'm the Tigers right now, I would give Rajay Davis a shot, and if it doesn't work out, I'd go to Don Kelly. But if both players pay dividends overall, keep rotating them. But start with Rajay Davis and play Don Kelly's some if you need to rest Rajay Davis. Also, how will manager Brad Ausmus and the new coaching staff handle the team this season? Well, Brad Ausmus, as you know, has no experience managing a Major League Baseball team, but he's a very intelligent and energetic baseball person. He was a catcher for us, and he managed Team Israel. and a minor league team, Team Israel, from the 2013 Winter Baseball Classic. And I think he and the new coaching staff will be just fine. I think he'll deal with players he has known as very good baseball players. Not quite but not like personally or anything. I know this is sports, but I still wanted to add that on there, just so it doesn't sound too funny. I'm pretty sure Brad Ausmus will use his intelligence to manage the team to a World Series title, and of course, some parts of their bullpen are still struggling, but Phil Koch has picked it up a bit. Albuquerque, well, he's been doing a little above average. As I take a look at the pitchers inside the Tigers roster, Jose Ortega blew one save, but picked up a save, finally his first today, in Space Coast Stadium against the Nationals, as the Tigers beat them 2-1, as I mentioned. And Ian Kroll has been given it some gas. Jabba Chamberlain they added, signed him to a one-year deal. I think he's been doing great, but let me take a look at the stats first. 4.62 ERA. 60. Wait, that's his career-wise. 3 flat ERA. That's not bad. 6 flat innings pitched. Only 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, only 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Opposing batting average 348. He has made 6 appearances on the mound. But I think the Tigers will go all the way. 2 minutes left on the show. Let's go to other Detroit sports updates. Michigan State clobbers Michigan 69-55 in the Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament Championship game in Indianapolis. The matchup I really wanted to see in that game. And the Red Wings, with a couple costly mistakes in the third period, get smashed by the Blackhawks 4-1 at United Center. They remain out of the playoff picture, out of playoff contention, but are still in the hunt. They are not eliminated. They are stuck with 73 points. That's going to do it for the 2014 Tigers season preview. I'll be back with the Red Wings edition Saturday night at 11, and then at midnight, the same night, the Pistons edition. Till then, this is Taylor Phillips saying TTFN, ta-ta for now.